What's poppin', Mobs gang? This is the HackerMops, and this is episode number 1 of our game development journey to a fully developed game. Now, before we start, I'd like to mention that this game will be made in the Unity engine, as some of you could have guessed. It will be in 2D, and it won't be a pixel art game. Also, I am not a pro programmer. Yet. Now, with that out of the way, this series hopefully will be released every 2 weeks, as creating one episode takes a huge amount of time and it's very tiresome. So right now I made a simple movement script with animations and jumping just to start things off somewhere. And with that, let's jump into creating an inventory system. First things first, I'm going to open up GIMP, which is a pretty powerful image editing software, and I use it because it is free, unlike some other super popular image editor. Photoshop. Right now I'm creating a sprite, which is going to be the UI for our inventory, in particular the outer border and the background of each slot. And to actually use the UI, we need to set up the canvas, and although not much needs to be changed here, I like to increase the reference resolution to 1600 by 900, which is closer to my native resolution, and since the screen size will probably be changed depending on the user, their monitor, screen should be matched with width and height respectively to 0.5 on each end. And with that done, next step is creating the parent object of all the objects for the UI of the inventory and the background object. This is the last bit of the UI before I start making the inventory functional through script. I need to create all the slots under the container object and also align them properly. Because I want to create an inventory that size, meaning its slot count could be increased with an upgrade or something similar, the UI needs to update as well. Well, its slot count needs to increase. And this could be done through a script, but luckily there is a perfect component in Unity that does exactly what I need. Meaning it manages all the child objects, and it's called the grid layout group. And to make it a little bit nicer, I add padding around each of the slots. So when I copy the slots, as you can see, they are automatically placed in their correct position by the component, and I don't even need to create any custom script. In the meantime, I modified the container object a bit, and also the grid layout group variables to make the inventory look a little bit nicer, but because I want to make the inventory size changeable, I'll actually make the slot object a prefab and delete existing ones, because then they will be added through a script. Alright, so when I hit play, probably every item slot should be instantiated, and so yeah, they are created through script. Now, the actual items are going to be scriptable objects, but I won't get into much detail, but basically scriptable objects are great for data storage, and they don't need to be attached to any game objects, so when they are not actually used, they won't draw any processing power. Okay, so for the actual scriptable object item, when creating it, I have set up that you can change its name, create it, have a description, have an item icon that will be displayed in the inventory, also the type. Right now the type is basically useless, but later we will use it for something like giving it to the player. Maybe it will be like melee, maybe it will be like a ranged weapon. Also, if the item is stackable or not, meaning in one slot you could have like 5 of the same item or like just 1 of the same item. So basically that's all the needed information right now. Maybe later I'll add more, but right now this is just enough. To show the amount of items in a single slot, I'll be using the Text Mesh Pro add-on, and to make the text a bit more visible, I'll just add a background image to it. Alright, now after some time of programming the inventory logic, item pickup, which consisted of, well, Anyway, right now we can pick up the items and they also show in the inventory, and everything's fine, they are displayed. But if we were to add another stackable object for the pair item, what would happen? Let's see. And oh no. Oh no. Alright, with that bug fixed, now let's check it, and yeah, I can finally pick them up and they are stacked correctly, because in one slot there can be like 5 pair items that I have created, and so when there is 5, the next go over. So yeah, obviously the inventory would be pretty useless if it weren't possible to move the items around, stack them, split them up, and also drop them on the ground. And to be able to do that, I'll be using a separate game object that will have an UI image, and depending on which slot and which mouse button will be pressed, left or right, it will be possible to pick the item up, place them back in, and other things. Alright, now that I have made the moving item, which basically is like on the mouse always when I'm picking up the item, it acts the same way as the item slot, like it has the item icon, text background, text. This has also that. So I just pick him up, and when I left click it, it picks up the whole thing. You can also swap it around, but with the right click you can destack them like that. Also, you can right click and switch them. Same with the left click. You can left click and stack them back. So it's pretty similar to how the Minecraft inventory system works. And also drop them, and yeah, it just gets dropped right here. It always gets dropped to the right, so like if I go like here and drop it, yeah, it drops here. But I want to make it like which face you're facing, it will be dropped in that direction, and also play like something like an animation or do some physics calculation to drop it correctly. So yeah, that's going to be basically it in this first episode, and in the next ones I'll add a hotbar, make basically the inventory functional, make some weapons that you can actually shoot with, select the items. So yeah, see you in the next one.